Bonser! Bonser! And come over here a moment.
Anything wrong, Mr. Shawcross?
Look at these display cases. There's enough dust on top to sow seeds in, and these smears on the glass. I thought all our cases were cleaned every day.
Oh, they are, Mr. Shawcross.
Well, it's not good enough, Bonser, is it? We're a high-class jewellers, you know, not a backstreet fish shop.
But the cleaning's done by the same firm we've always had, sir. They've been doing it for years.
Oh, time we change then. We can't afford to be sentimental in business. As I always say, if the old firm doesn't come up to scratch, try a new one.
But, Mr. Shawcross...
Good afternoon, Mrs. Honeycomb. Delighted to see you again. Bonser, bring up a chair for Mrs. Honeycomb.
I shan't need a chair. I don't intend to stay.
Oh, but I hope we can have the pleasure of serving you in some way, madam.
Well, I happened to be passing by when I saw a rather unusual ring in your window. I'd like to take a closer look at it, please.
Certainly, madam, of course. Bonser... he seems to have disappeared. Well, I'll get it for you myself, madam. Would you kindly step over to the window and point it out? Just get my keys. They're here somewhere. I trust you're keeping well, Mrs. Honeycomb.
Quite well, Shawcross.
And Mr. Honeycomb?
My husband is in his usual rude health.
Oh, good, good. Now, where did I... here they are. Yes, I'll just unlock the window and... There. Now, which ring was it, madam?
That one. At the front there.
Ah, yes. A very fine solitaire. Very fine indeed. Impeccable taste as always, Mrs. Honeycomb.
Let me see it, Shawcross.
Oh, certainly, madam.
Yes. It seems a reasonable stone.
Oh, it's exceptional, madam. 1.5 carats of the lovely clear colour.
May I borrow your lens, Shawcross?
By all means. Now, if you look at it in the daylight, you'll see it's a brilliant cut, not a trace of yellow.
How much, Shawcross?
Can you see what a superb bluish-white colour it is?
The price.
A perfect platinum shank and a really fine, clean...
Don't get carried away, Shawcross. Just tell me the price.
1,000 guineas, madam.
What?
I can assure you it's worth every penny.
Nonsense.
The stone is outstanding.
I'm not querying the stone. It's your price. Far too high. You ought to know by now, Shawcross, you can't pull the wool over my eyes. I'm not one of those empty-headed little mini-skirted creatures...
No, madam.
...tripping in on the arm of some equally empty-headed middle-aged man with more money than sense. I know jewellery, Shawcross, and I tell you that charging 1,000 guineas for that ring is nothing short of robbery.
I can assure you, madam, that this establishment...
This establishment, Shawcross, has taken a considerable amount of my money over the years.
Indeed, Mrs. Honeycomb. Believe me, you and your husband are amongst our most valued clients. Indeed you are. But the price is one we feel is quite fair for a ring of that quality. However, in your case, madam, I think perhaps we could... reduce it by, 50 guineas.
50? Good Lord, man, I wouldn't even consider it unless you dropped it at least 200.
200? Oh, no, madam. Quite out of the question. I'm sorry, I really couldn't go as low as that. You see...
In that case, Shawcross, put it back in your window.
Mr. Shawcross, excuse me for interrupting, madam, but that ring...
I don't wish to discuss it any further, young man.
Well, you see, it shouldn't really be displayed at all. It's already been sold.
Sold?
It was my fault entirely. A customer bought it this morning, and I put it back in the window by mistake. Silly of me, really.
Yes, it was, Bonser. Fortunately for you, Mrs. Honeycomb isn't interested in it now.
Wait a minute, Shawcross. Wait a minute. I didn't say I dismissed it entirely.
But I was under the impression,
Let
madam...
me see it again. Yes. Perhaps my first impressions were a little hasty.
But, madam, if it's already been sold, I'm
Shawcross,
afraid...
I'll remind you once again that I spend a great deal of money here, and I would expect you to give preference to existing customers.
Oh, we do, of course, Mrs. Honeycomb. But please understand that in the circumstances it makes it very difficult for me to turn down this other customer.
Nonsense, Shawcross. Unless it's someone of considerable importance, you can always fob them off with some excuse. Who is it, anyway?
Who is it, Bonser?
I'd rather not say, sir.
What?
Well, if you don't mind...
Well, I do mind. Surely there's no harm in mentioning this person's name.
I don't think it would be advisable.
Oh, don't be silly, Bonser. Mrs. Honeycomb's right. There's no point in concealing the customer's name. It'll clear up the whole matter.
Sir, could I speak to you on one side for a moment?
Oh, really, Bonser.
Well, it's terribly important, you see.
I must say I find this whispering extremely ill-mannered.
Oh, I see, Bonser. I see. Oh, well, madam, I must apologize for that, but Bonser was quite right. He couldn't very well have revealed the gentleman's name, but I assure you everything will turn out for the best.
What are you talking about?
Perhaps madam has a celebration of some kind very shortly. An anniversary, perhaps?
Well, it is my birthday next week, but...
Ah, that's it, your birthday. Well, Mrs. Honeycomb, when you open your gifts on that day, I'm sure you'll get a pleasant surprise.
You don't mean that the person who bought this ring was my...
Madam, don't press me. Can't spoil the surprise, can we?
You mean he paid 1,000 guineas for me?
I haven't said anything, madam, not a word.
Well, in that case, I'd better leave it, hadn't I, Shawcross?
Thank you, madam. Door, Bonser.
1,000 guineas for me.
Goodbye, Mrs. Honeycomb. Delighted to see you again.
Yes, goodbye, Shawcross, and goodbye.
Had a very nasty situation there for a moment, Bonser. But isn't that just like a woman, eh? Complains about the price, then finds her husband's bought it for her, so everything's fine again.
Actually, sir, I didn't quite finish that bit I was whispering to you.
Well, what do you mean? Her husband did buy it, didn't he?
Oh, yes. He came in this morning and chose it. But before he finally bought it,
Yes, go on.
he has sent his secretary round to try it for size.
Oh, Lord.
Like you said about our cleaners. If the old firm doesn't come up to scratch, try a new one.
Well, Mr. Crowther, I think we have all the details now.
Sure you can deliver on time?
Oh, yes, don't worry about that. That's quite a big order for a firm our size. We're not exactly one of the giants of the plastics industry, you know. But we've never let a customer down yet. Delivery by the 12th of next month, I promise.
Good. Well, I'll be off then, Mr. Keating.
Do you have time for a quick one for the road, as they say?
Oh, well, I'm meeting someone before dinner, but all right. Just a small one, then.
Here we are.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Mr. Crowther, this is the first order you've given us, but I sincerely hope it's not the last.
I like your samples, Keating. Good stuff. And that's what I'm looking for. Good stuff. So if this first delivery is up to scratch, you never know. You might get a really big one next time.
Good.
Could be the making of this firm of yours. You'll be able to expand fast. But don't forget, keep up the quality.
That's something we pride ourselves on. Ask any of our customers. Oh, by the way, do you mind telling me which one of them recommended us?
Oh, I forget his name.
Local firm?
Yeah, I believe it was, yes.
From the new trading estate, I expect.
That's it, yes. Well, look, I've got to be moving now. Thanks for the drink. Nice drop of scotch, that. Oh, that reminds me, you like scotch, do you?
Well, yes, but...
How'd you like some at half price?
Half price?
Yes, the real stuff. Had a lot myself. You see, I meet all kinds of people while I'm travelling around. They offer me all kinds of things. And so long as there's no comeback on me, if you know what I mean, I don't ask questions. But it's up to you. Seeing as you've just collected a big order, I thought you might like a little celebration.
Not a bad idea, Mr. Crowther.
That's real scotch, remember. Half price. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll ring my contact tonight. I'll get him to deliver a couple of cases before the weekend. How's that?
Fine. Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. Well, now I must be off. I nearly forgot.
Yes?
About paying for this scotch, as it's sort of, well, under the counter, as you might say. This chap likes paying before delivery.
Oh, does he? In cash, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. 2 cases, £30. No invoices or anything. Keeps everything nice and quiet, see?
So you want me to give you £30 now?
Yeah.
Won't a cheque do?
Oh, sorry. Gotta be cash.
I see. Well, I'll have to get my secretary to fetch it from accounts.
Oh, fine.
Oh, by the way, before I forget, you were telling me who recommended us to you. A local firm, you said.
I think so, yeah.
You don't happen to remember their names?
No, I'm sorry. I've got a terrible head for names. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. You've got your order.
It wouldn't be Bentham Accessories, by any chance?
I believe you're right, yes. Yes, that's them.
Really? In that case, the man you deal with was probably Cooper. John Cooper.
Yeah, that's him. Cooper.
But isn't his name George Cooper?
Is it? Well, I told you, I have a terrible head for names. But I remember speaking to him about you yesterday.
Yesterday?
Look here, I really haven't much time now, so if you wouldn't mind hurrying with that cash.
I'll get it right away.
Otherwise, I'll be late for my appointment.
I won't keep you long, Mr. Crowther. Sally,
Yes, Mr. Keating.
quick as you can, ring George Cooper of Bentham's. Ask him if he's ever heard of a chap called Crowther, Albert Crowther. Then ask him to describe what he looks like, okay?
Yes, Mr. Keating.
And then stand by to ring the police.
Police?
Yes, not yet, though. Get Cooper first.
Yes, sir.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Look, if it's going to take any time, let's cancel this whiskey business. I'll see you about it some other time. I really must get going.
No, I assure you it won't take a minute to get what I want. And you wouldn't want me to miss a bargain like this, would you?
Well,
Of course. Hello. Yes, Sally? And what did he say? Really? Is that so? Thank you, Sally. Now do that second thing I told you. That's it, right away. Well. That is interesting.
What is?
I just got my secretary to ring Mr. Cooper. You know, you spoke to him about me yesterday.
Oh, yes.
Well, the funny thing is, he's out of town on business, and what's more, he's been away all week.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say I spoke to him face to face. As a matter of fact, it was over the phone. Yes, that's it. I spoke to him over the phone. I remember now.
Really? You can't recall where he was at the time?
Does it matter?
It does to me, Mr. Crowther. Where was he speaking from?
I can't remember now. Southampton, I think.
Sunderland, actually, the opposite direction.
Well, I knew it was something beginning with S. I told you before, I've got a
Terrible head for names, yes, I know.
Now, look, I can't wait any longer. Look, forget this whiskey.
You don't think I'm as naive as all that, do you?
I beg your pardon.
Oh, come off it. You walk into a small firm you've never dealt with before, 200 miles away from your so-called factory. You place a £7,000 order saying you've been recommended by a man whose name and firm you can't remember, a man who's been away all week, yet you say you spoke to him yesterday.
Over the phone.
Mr. Crowther, I thought this whole deal was a bit unusual. But when you came up with that business about the half-price whiskey and then insisted on cash, well, that finished it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Keating, but be careful. I've placed a big order with you, remember, and it could be the making of this firm.
Don't bluster, Crowther, or whatever your name is. It's one of the oldest con tricks in the business. You butter me up first with a false order, then offer me whiskey at bargain prices. And when I give you the 30 quid, you'll walk out of here and I'll never see you or your order or your whiskey again.
You're making a big mistake, Keating.
Well, tell that to the police. This'll be them now. And don't try to get away, you won't get far. Yes, Keating here.
Oh, hello, it's George Cooper of Bentham's. I'm speaking from Sunderland. My secretary rang and said you've been on to her about a chap named Albert Crowther.
Yes, but it doesn't matter now. We've cleared that up. You see, this Crowther placed an order with us. On your recommendation, he says, and then offered me some whiskey at half price. Fascinating little story.
I don't understand.
No, I didn't think you would, but don't worry. I've got your friend safe in my office here.
Good. Well, then, could you tell him I'll be wanting 2 more cases of his whiskey next week? I'll pay cash first, as usual. Glad
What?
to hear he's given you an order.
That-
Could be the making of you, eh? Hello? Are you still there? Hello? What's happening? Keating, are you there? Keating? Keating?
Oh, Miss Rance, if Mr. and Mrs. Glossop are outside, please ask them to come in. I feel I'm ready for them now. I've taken my tranquilizers.
Professor Humphreys.
Headmaster!
What is the meaning of this outrage?
It's victimisation!
Why are you expelling our dear son Horace?
You never liked the child, never liked him.
He's such a clean, good-hearted boy.
Yeah.
This stain on his career could mean... Oh, Henry!
Well, hold on, Gladys. Now, you listen to me, Humphreys. There better be a damn good reason for this, or by heavens, I'll break you. I'll break you.
Yes, well, won't you sit down?
Really, Headmaster?
Just a moment, one moment. Mr. and Mrs. Glossop, I have here in front of me the inch-thick file on your son Horace. It reads like something out of Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, fancy.
Look, Headmaster, I know the boy's done 1 or 2 things wrong.
To be precise, the boy's done 739 things wrong. And the file is not yet closed.
But Horace is so happy here.
Horace is the only one who is happy here, Mrs. Glossop. Myself, my staff, and the rest of the boys are all driven out of their minds. Still, we're more fortunate than poor Mr. Griffiths, geography master.
What happened to him?
We don't know. He hasn't recovered sufficiently to tell us.
I don't believe it. This can't be our Horace. Not our boy.
I assure you it is. I remember the first day I met him. There he stood in front of me, his shining blonde hair, neatly pressed trousers, brightly polished shoes. He'd bought me a toffee apple.
How sweet.
It was only when I bit it that I found the apple was coated with carpenter's glue.
Oh, I suppose that was a bit naughty.
Yeah, but it's no reason for expelling the lad.
You forget, Mr. Glossop, that was the first week of his first term. This is now the last week of his 5th year. But I'm happy to say there are some parts of the school still standing. Incidentally, before I forget, how did we arrange to pay for the lad?
Eh?
In advance, COD, or hire purchase?
Hey, what are you driving at? Horace's fees are up to date. Aren't they?
Of course. Didn't Horace give you the money, Headmaster?
So that's it. I wondered how a 14-year-old could afford to smoke such expensive cigars.
No. Horace stealing from his own parents.
You're lucky it wasn't robbery with violence.
Oh, I don't believe it.
I can't believe it.
I can. There's still an unsolved bank robbery in the town. Terrified customers were held up at gunpoint, and oxyacetylene cutters were used to break into the vault. Tear gas, smoke bombs, the full treatment. And the small, masked bandit in short trousers made his getaway in a fast car.
Well, surely you don't suspect Horace.
Why not? And there was a sign chalked up on the manager's door.
What did he say?
The Phantom strikes again.
Oh, hold me, Henry.
There, love, there.
Oh, I'm beginning to think that I don't know my Horace.
Well, we do. I've sent for the boy, so perhaps you'll remain and hear what I have to say to him for the last time before I expel him from this establishment. Horace Glossop will come in now, Miss Rounce.
Headmaster?
Stand over there, boy.
Yes, sir. Hello, Mum.
Horace.
Hello, Dad. Dad?
Horace Glossop, it is my unpleasant duty to expel you from this school.
Oh, but, sir...
Quiet, boy.
Yeah, Gladys.
The list of misdemeanors and mischief attributed to you is diabolically impressive. You've burned down the assembly hall, the swimming pool leaks like a sieve, you drove the bulldozer through the cricket pavilion. Oh, I can't go on. You've been destructive, vindictive, and cruel. In short, you're a very naughty boy. What have you to say?
Well, sir, it's a bit difficult with Mum and Dad here, but, well, they're to blame.
Oh, Horace.
You see, sir, I haven't got no friends.
Any friends, lad?
Either way, I haven't got none. And my Mum and Dad, well, they never come to see me at weekends or Wednesday afternoons, and, well, really, they never understood me. Nobody wants me. I get so lonely.
Oh, Horace.
We didn't realize, boy.
Alas, none of us realize the emotional upheaval in this poor child's mind. After all, Horace, who am I to judge you? Perhaps with your parents' permission, I could give you another chance.
Oh, yes, please, Headmaster. Yes. I'm sure he'll make amends. We will, too, won't we, Henry?
Of course we will, love. Sorry, Horace, my boy.
That's all right, Dad. Have a cigar.
Quite. Well, now, lad, better get back to class. Where are you this afternoon?
Chemistry, sir.
Then get back to the lab and learn all you can.
Well, actually, sir, if it's all right with you, I'd like to hang on a few moments to chat with my parents, like.
Oh, all right, lad. I can't see what difference a few minutes will make. Horace! Horace! You're expelled!
Now, let's see. 4 ounces of butter, 4 ounces of sugar, 2 eggs.
Anyone in?
Who is it?
Only me.
Oh, hello, Amy. Come on in. What you doing over this way?
Well, Vi, I had to drive over to Mendlebury with Mrs. Thornton. So I said to her, look, I said, I'll pop over and see my sister. It's her birthday tomorrow, I said. And I simply must take her birthday present. So here it is, Vi.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Can I open it?
No, certainly not. Wait till tomorrow.
Well, thank you again. I'll put it on the shelf here till tomorrow. Can I make you a coffee?
No. You just carry on with your baking. What is it?
Victoria sandwich. One of George's favourites. He loves it.
Oh, yes. While we're on the subject of George...
Now, Amy, be careful. I'm quite aware that you and George don't exactly
See eye to eye, eh?
Well, that's putting it mildly. But that doesn't mean to say he isn't a good husband.
Just a moment, Vi. That is the whole point. Is he a good husband?
What on earth do you mean?
All those expensive presents he's been buying you lately.
Oh, he's only bought 2. One at Christmas.
And what was that?
Oh, the handbag, of course, the crocodile skin one.
And the other?
You know very well what it was. The gold bracelet for our anniversary.
A leather handbag and a gold bracelet. 2 expensive presents.
Oh, come now, not all that expensive.
Expensive for George.
No, we're not exactly paupers.
But look, I'm not going to beat about the bush. I expect George will be home soon, and I wanted to show you this before he comes.
What is it?
Our local evening paper. There's something in it I think you ought to read. Here.
Oh, my hands are covered in flour, and I haven't got my glasses.
I'll read it for you then. It says, a tall, dark man of about 40, who speaks with an Irish accent, has recently passed 3 forged cheques in local shops. Vi, are you listening to this?
Of course, dear. But what's it all to do with me?
Listen to it. With the 3 forged cheques, he obtained a crocodile skin handbag, a gold bracelet, and an oil painting worth £50 called the Fisherwives.
Pass me the milk, dear.
Here. Now, Vi, did you hear that?
Yes, I was listening. The man had a crocodile skin handbag, a gold bracelet, and... Amy.
Woke up at last, have you?
Oh, Amy, I hope you're not suggesting...
My dear Vi, you must admit it's quite a coincidence. Tall, dark man, about 40.
With an Irish accent.
Well, you know how good George is at imitations, one of his better talents.
Amy!
After all, everything matches perfectly, doesn't it? The description of the man, except for the Irish accent, of course.
But it could be a complete coincidence.
My dear Vi, don't think for one moment I'm accusing your George of passing dud checks.
Then what are you doing?
I'm merely pointing out the similarities. Don't you understand?
I understand perfectly.
Now look, there's only one way to solve this. You'll just have to ask George what he's giving you for your birthday. And if he says a picture, then you'll know what's happened.
But George wouldn't do anything like that. He's not the type. He's always been scrupulously honest.
Well, ask him, Vi. It's the only way.
But supposing he has...
Well, then we'll have to decide what is best, I suppose.
It's only me, dear.
Now, don't forget, ask him.
Hello, Vi.
Hello, dear.
Oh, hello, Amy.
Hello, George.
How are you?
Fine. You?
Oh, mustn't grumble, you know.
Vi wants to ask you something, don't you, Vi?
Yes, George.
What is it, dear?
Well, it's my birthday tomorrow.
Well, don't worry, I hadn't forgotten.
Good. Well, as it's my birthday, I just wanted to know...
Yes, dear?
What you bought me for a present.
I beg your pardon?
The present for my birthday.
Well, it's not very usual to ask that sort of thing, is it, dear? I mean, it's supposed to be a surprise.
We do realize that, George, but you see, there are certain reasons why we ask.
Oh, are there? And who asked you to put your spoke in? Well, in case you don't know, my dear Amy, I've only recently bought Vi 2 very nice presents.
I know that, George, dear.
And in the circumstances, as I'm not made of money like some husbands we know, I decided that...
Yes?
That I couldn't afford anything for a birthday present. Unfortunate, but there it is.
Oh, George.
I'm sorry, dear.
Don't worry about it, George. Well, Amy, are you satisfied? Does that answer your little query?
I think I'd better be going. Don't bother to see me out. Goodbye.
Well, thank goodness she's gone. Now, what on earth's all this about?
It's nothing, George. Forget it. Oh, I'm so glad you didn't get anything for my birthday.
Look, I don't know about that, but I do know that sister of yours gets my back up.
Forget her.
I wish I could. In fact, she annoyed me so much just now that I couldn't bring myself to say anything in front of her.
Say what?
Well, about your birthday present.
But you said you hadn't bought one.
Well, that wasn't exactly true.
Oh, no.
It's nothing wildly expensive, mind you.
Not the Fisherwives. Don't tell me it's the Fisherwives.
What?
It is a picture, isn't it? A picture.
Well, yes, it is, actually,
Oh.
but how on earth did you guess?
Oh, George. George.
I don't get it. What are you crying about?
Bye.
Oh.
Oh, I hate to come back again like this, but I left my car keys. What on earth is going on here?
Amy, he has got me a birthday present after all, and It is the picture.
So, I was right. I knew it, I knew it. You and your Irish accent.
My what?
Your Irish accent, I said. I knew you couldn't be trusted. Always said so, haven't I, Vi?
I must be going mad. What are you blithering about, woman?
Oh, George, how could you?
Oh, shut up, both of you. I don't know what all this is about, but if you want to know, Vi, I couldn't afford another expensive present. But I did want to give you something. So, remember last summer when Amy invited herself to stay? I took that snap of you both sitting on the lawn.
Yes.
You liked it so much, I've had it enlarged and framed.
Oh, George.
And if that sister of yours doesn't get the hell out of here, I'll have her enlarged and framed and hung.
Oh,